changes, but I did everything that I said to do. Nope, not yet. It's still switching. You're frozen though, so. No, now you have to change it in Zoom. Perfect. There we go. Cool. I'm telling you, that was. All right, I don't see it in YouTube, so whatever. Sure, let's do it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Jonathan Tripp Live and Talk Social Nation and all that stuff. So, guys, welcome. This is actually episode 14. We're kind of starting a new quarter, starting a new season. I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching us live. And if you are watching us live, make sure you give us a quick share out. You'd be surprised, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, of how Facebook and Twitter and how all the social channels are kind of like putting some of the kibosh on just the organic reach. So, but it only happens when you guys actually share it. So if you guys would, please share it out, whether you're on Periscope or if you see it on Twitter, please share it out on Twitter. If you're in YouTube, if you're in YouTube and it's popping up today, then great. If it's on Facebook, wherever you are, please share this video. But if you're watching on the replay, just drop us a quick comment. But I do want to say welcome to the second season of Jonathan Tripp Live and Live Talk Nations. This is our group, and I'm super excited to have you guys all here. We're going to be making some changes, adding some moderators and things like this to the game. We've got some other ideas for just some new fun content that's just not the same old thing. At least I hope it's not. Man, but anyway, there is a lot happening in social media, and I'm not just talking to you marketers. It's really for everybody. So just, you got to make sure you stay tuned for today's Talk Social News. And later on, we're going to be talking about some of the significant changes in live streaming and why the stories are the new news feed. So with that, let's start our show. All right. Thank you guys for joining us today. Today is another episode, and I'm super stoked to have you guys here. We're going to be talking about live stream, our news feeds, and there's so much social media news that's been happening with it. But before I do that, I do want to say that today's show has been proudly brought to you by VitMug Productions. Making live stream work for your business. Visit them over at vitmug.com. or follow them at VitMug on Twitter and on Facebook. So you just make it happen. If you guys want to see it, just go there. All right, right into the news, okay? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I missed one thing. It's all right. It's totally fine. I screwed up. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go into Talk Social News, and I'll hit this at the end. All right? Let's talk social news, okay? Twitter icons are changing. I don't know. Do you guys notice that? But in a last-ditch effort to rejuvenate the platform, Twitter is making some pretty drastic moves. First off, they're changing that stock avatar from the cold, impersonal egg icon that everyone's so familiar with to the more friendly, unisex profile silhouette. And I think this is a genius move, and it should really be credited for turning the tide on the ever-present harassment issue that's been plaguing the platform for years. And if that isn't enough, right, Twitter, it's pushing back on Homeland Security's efforts to bring or to gain access to the sensitive material and information, aka the identities of certain rogue Twitter handles, right? And in the statement filed by Twitter in a California Fed court, the rights, and I'm quoting, the rights of free speech accorded Twitter users and Twitter itself under the First Amendment of the US Constitution, including the right to disseminate such anonymous or pseudo-anonymous political speech. What does that mean? Basically, well, this is Twitter obviously feels it needs to protect free speech, and I really am a huge supporter of that in this regard. Okay, however, can I point out that while through all their efforts to protect the privacy and free speech of its users, this kind of seems like swatting at flies compared to the abuse and harassment that goes on the platform, and that's actually labeled the platform as toxic. And it's probably one of the leading causes for its inability to find a willing buyer last year. But what I'm not saying about Twitter is that it doesn't have the right or that it shouldn't be protecting free speech. What I am saying is that if Twitter spent more of its effort and time to innovate the platform beyond changing the stock avatar icons and adding live streaming sporting events and duplicating Periscope and just calling it Twitter Live, Twitter just might become a platform I think everybody loves to use instead of loves to hate. Just saying. But just in case you want to continue to hate on Twitter, but we have an alternative to this really hot mess. Let me introduce you to Mastodon. How about that? Who names these things anyway? My goodness. Mastodon is a decentralized version of Twitter that runs on different server instances, okay? Some of the differences, and you guys, you may have heard this, and if not, you can spell check it. It's up there, and not spell check it, but you can Google search it. Mastodon, there are some differences. So some of the differences are that the posts are called toots, not tweets, okay? So let's just be really clear about that. The other one is that there's a 500 character limit, not like some 140 like some other those ridiculous platforms. And like another platform that will remain nameless, anyone can create an anonymous or pseudo-anonymous user account. But the key distinctives here is that instead of a massive network access, servers instances actually, they allow for more of a siloed chat experience where you can go from room to room, or you can go from server to server effectively, okay? Or you can even create your own. And then invite all your friends in there. But remember, it's free, open source, and get this, funded through Patreon. Not from the corporation, but it's funded through a Patreon account. So if that doesn't get you going, check this out. The developer actually said in some of its literature says, and I quote this, all right, "I'm not interested in VC funding, monetizing, advertising, or any of that sort." So like many of the other ideals that we come across on the internet, this platform may actually go the way of the original Mastodon. And I don't mean the heavy metal band, which apparently that's one of the reasons why this platform was named Mastodon. So we got that, okay? YouTube. Let me take you back about a half a decade to when YouTube did this really amazing thing, maybe 5-10 years ago. It opened its partner program to everybody. And while everybody that signed up for an account and then uploaded videos, but I think you get the point there, okay? Now, fast forward to today, because YouTube has grown to the largest and most used video search engine in the world, period. So when Ariel Barden, the YouTube's VP of product management, announced changes in a blog post, I paid attention, and so should you. In his blog post, he immediately acknowledges the success of YouTube as a platform and that, quote, "more creators are making a living on YouTube than ever before." And he went on to describe a significant growth in channels that are starting to re-upload videos and then monetize them as a pirated video. So what did they do? They did what any responsible business would do. They made it easier to report that duplicated content. But as they say, if enough is good, more is better. And well, YouTube went better, way better. They implemented a policy, get this, now you gotta listen. They implemented a policy that they will no longer serve ads on videos until the channel reaches 10,000 lifetime views. He writes, "This is a new threshold, and it gives us enough information to determine the validity of a channel. It also allows us to confirm if a channel is following our community guidelines and advertising policy. By keeping the threshold to 10,000 views, we also ensure that there will be a minimal impact on aspiring creators." Well, aspiring creators, best of luck to you. Anchor heads, attention. This is your chance. This is what you've been waiting for. Anchor 2.0 just released yet another feature to attract users back to the platform. And what's the feature? Well, thanks to a partnership with IBM's AI named Watson, Anchor allows for recording of two-way conversations, making it so easy to turn that conversation into an audio broadcast. You simply push a button, you select a contact, and you have a conversation. The app automatically records, and when you're done, it adds it to your Anchor story. These can be edited via an email link that you get, and also a transcription of the recording. But you got to watch out though, because you still need to review the transcription for accuracy, because Watson, he hasn't got it all figured out yet. And there I did it. I called a thing a he because of the name. I don't know if I'm getting this right. But so while I'm not really personally impressed with this list of features, it's still an iOS app. But I want to say, though, it's a really great step in the right direction. And I think it's certainly miles ahead of the new Facebook audio that's been rolling out. Now, examples of this, and I don't know if you guys know this, but examples of this, I posted in Live Talk Nation earlier, about a week or so ago, with Lakeisha Sarba. And I just want to know, does anybody have Facebook audio? It might be using this feature. It might be literally as simple as just when you go live on your mobile, you click an audio versus a video. And I forwarded, I just posted in the group example of what she was trying to do. So we'll give it a try. Tag me in the broadcast. I'd love to see if you guys have it and if it works, or if it's even something you're interested in, because maybe audio is just like kind of like TV was. We just don't really care anymore. All right. So having said that, like, I'm sorry to tell you, there are tons of news, and I'm going to be talking with a lot more frequency on Periscope and Facebook and Instagram. By the way, guys, I'm loving Instagram lately. So if you haven't, you guys can follow me there. But just to give you an idea, some of the stories that we haven't covered this morning, just to kind of keep everything going, and because we don't have all day, but Facebook Stories rolls out the 2-person streaming. That's kind of awesome. It's what we've been waiting for. And I just hope that fosters a lot more conversations, like real face-to-face conversations with your friends. Twitter introduces pre-roll ads to Periscope broadcasts. And if you haven't experienced that, good luck, all right? Because I don't really know how I feel about that, and I don't know what that looks like in reality. But also, there's a rocket icon for some of you Facebook Newsfeed users, all right? Also, a Twitter Live, it opens up the API, and maybe this isn't exactly new. Not very many people are using it, and I will be trying it out this coming week. I think it's going to be kind of fun. It's just another chance maybe to use Twitter's API and just go directly live to their platform. So chatbots, messenger chatbots are really hot right now. And get this, Adobe is making a selfie picture better by using AI. And that was a really kind of cool headline I saw. I don't think it's really like talk social news worthy, if you know what I mean. But I thought it was kind of cool. And Adobe's always been pushing this and pushing it on the mobile side. Instagram also, they're getting more business features as the ad platform demand grows. Different ways to connect. And that's kind of cool if you're into Instagram and if you have a business and if you really care about that kind of stuff. Otherwise, Instagram's still the same Instagram you've always known and loved. It's just getting harder maybe to find your ideal person or to connect with your friends unless you're already connected with them. But and lastly, Microsoft is launching a social event planning app to complement LinkedIn and its other social business services. Guys, you see, like, there is so much going on. And it's not just for marketers. This is just really genuine ways for people to connect with other people. This is not about how many people I can market to, or how many have I been able to reach my numbers quotas or anything like this. It really is, a lot of these features are just ways that we're going to start using the app as people, human to human, as they say, H to H, as Brian Kramer says. So so here's the thing. There's just so much, and we're just going to be trying a whole bunch of different things. One thing I do want to say is that if you haven't already, I want to encourage you to join Live Talk Nation. This really is a place for us to join together, to collaborate, learn, and really just support each other, and kind of in the way that we grow our business, the way that we connect and meet with people using social media and live streaming. And in that same vein, I am looking for some more moderators. If you're interested, please shout it out to me. Just say, hey, John, I'd be interested. And let's talk and we'll see what the role fits. But if you'd also like to be a part of the production team on this show, if you'd like to contribute or maybe have some influence on what gets on the show and things like this, also just message me. Just let me know. Or you can go over to jonathantripp.com/production. And you can fill it out there, and that just helps me get to know you if we're not already connected on any of the social channels. But guys, with that, I want to say let's get into the main part of our show. All right. Having said that, guys, thank you for joining us today. Okay, what's happening to the newsfeed? I know that's kind of like the title I put in there, and it's kind of fun and things like this. But seriously, like, what's going on? I noticed, I mean, we've had a lot of changes been happening. I don't know if you guys have noticed if you do a live show and things like this, or if you do a regular broadcast that's more like on the API side, where you're pushing it maybe more of like a produced version of this. And I've noticed that the numbers have literally dropped almost between 30 and 50%. And nothing else has really changed. Okay. And at first, I was really perplexed. I didn't quite understand why, and it didn't make sense because, and I was just going back to, I was like, did I not do something? Did I push it extra? Maybe the topic isn't right. Maybe I didn't promote it enough, or maybe I just didn't talk about it enough. I don't know. When things change as a business owner, or as like maybe as a collaborator or a broadcaster or something, and something changes and you haven't really done anything, it really makes you question yourself. And going back through, I noticed that there really wasn't any difference. I didn't really actually change anything. What happened? Well, this is what I think happened. Okay, we've noticed that live video, there is a lot more of live video, so it's not that it's basically I think the statistic was that 1 in 5, if I got this right, 1 in 5 videos now that are put out are actually a live video, that's a lot. So, and then also with the advent of stories, and I don't mean Messenger Day, because that's on the Messenger, and that's one thing, and that's a whole nother thing. I don't even understand why we can't just put them together, or just have an option to do one and then push it to the other platform, because it is Facebook. Facebook is Facebook. I understand not sending your stories or whatever it is to Instagram or maybe to like another platform. I completely understand that. But between the two, it's painfully arduous to try to share a story to Messenger Day and then Facebook stories. So I stopped doing one or the other. I don't always do it. And here's the thing, right? Our news feed is now getting inundated with these new features. And how many of you guys actually have the new colored backgrounds? How many of you guys actually have those? It first rolled out to Android, which is just that kind of threw me off the game, because nothing ever gets rolled out to Android at first. It got rolled out to Android first, and now the iOS users, they've got it. Okay, at least the majority of them. If you haven't, just update your apps and see if you got it right. So here's the bottom line with that. Right now, we've got that colorful those statements, and I kind of like them. I try not to abuse them. I try to give a good mix of maybe some video content, live video content, some of those color background questions, maybe some pictures. Basically, I'm trying to be like a normal human being and not spam my Facebook news feed, right? But the problem is that when you give 1.9 billion users all the same feature, it starts to flood the market, no matter which way you slice it. But Facebook already knew this, okay? Because they know that their users are only going to watch their news feed for a certain amount of time, okay? You only have a certain amount of, and I just call it the virtual real estate. People are they're not on their news feed 24/7. They may check it a few times, they may check it a bunch of times, they may do it exclusively from the mobile or from their desktop. But Facebook is really smart, and they know their data, and they know about how long people watch, and they scroll through their newsfeed, and they've set up an algorithm, and they know that they only have a certain amount of time that people are going to watch, because when that happens, that's the amount of time that people are actually going to get served ads. Because if you don't already know, that's really what Facebook is about. They're an ad display machine that masks itself as a social network. Okay. But when it comes to what can you watch and what can you see, well, you only have a certain number of, the algorithm only allows a certain amount of information, whether it's, you know, a cat video, pictures of your cousins, babies, uncles, nephews, first steps, whether it's a live video from Chris Strubb missing the train in Penn Station last night, or somebody doing Facebook stories that they're publishing also to their newsfeed. Okay. There's only a certain amount of space, and it's just like normal people that only have a certain amount of attention. I can't watch TV all day. Believe me, I've tried. I can drink coffee all day. I can't watch TV all day. And Facebook is the same way. So as they introduce these new features and these new video things and such like this, what happens is that there's less and less space, and it's something's got to give. And so I think what's giving right now is they're sharing out the live videos less. That's the bottom line. They've made room for some of these new new pictures. They're making room for the new stories. That's just the bottom line. And so I think what the challenge is right now is, if you're a marketer or if you're a business or if you're somebody that's trying to connect with people and use and leverage a social platform in that way, you got to be really careful. One, you don't spam. Don't just think, well, the more I put out there, the more chances somebody's going to see it. Believe me, when somebody catches wind of it, they're going to be like, nope, unfollow or unfriend. And I love the unfollow feature because you can't tell when they're not seeing your stuff, but they're still connected. So you're like, oh, what gives? Okay. So the next part is that, so start being a real person in the content that you're going to share. Make it true to like your brand message. Make sure it's also true to the way that people want to watch or they want to consume your content. If you are known for being a blogger, please write awesome blogs. Okay. If you're a live streamer, do some really fun, awesome live stream stuff, but connect with people the right way. And I think without getting too much into that, I think that's really kind of my point, guys. Your news feed's being taken over by new features, and Facebook's collecting the data, and they're going to figure out if they like it or not because of the way that you react to it. And that's just the way that the algorithms work. And that's the way that Facebook works now. So having said that, in closing, let's do this. How about this, right? Guys, I do want to say thank you to a bunch of people here, and it's not arduous. It's not a task. It's actually a real pleasure. I have known Terry Johnson for probably more than a year, maybe a year, 2 years now. And she has always been a great community manager for Live Talk Nation. And I always like to give her a shout out. And I like to make sure that that she's able to that she kind of gets that credit due. You can find her on Twitter at WebGirlTJ. She also does some different things online. And if you're watching in the group in Live Talk Nation, you're gonna have to check it out. But she really does a great job. She hosts some shows, and you can find her at Terry Johnson and Terry Johnson Online. So thanks for that. And also, Jen Nelson, thanks for producing today's show. I really appreciate it. You make my life a lot easier, and you know what? And I really like what you're doing with some of the side graphics. That's kind of cool. I like that. But anyway, guys, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter over at jonathantripp.live, and news and updates that you're not going to see everywhere else. And as always, as I promise, you're not going to regret it. I don't spam you. I love you. So let's go over to, I don't know, let's go over to Smile Time today for our after chat. Some what do we would call fun and shenanigans. No, just come on over to Smile Time. I'll be up at the top, and is over at Jonathan Tripp Live. And guys, I just want to say thank you for watching today. I really can't wait till next time.